Good morning, everyone. That always sounds so loud when there's not a full house. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living, to all of you in the house, and to all of you in your own homes. Welcome. Thank you very much for including us in your day. Is there anybody here that is here for the very first time? I don't think so. Okay.
So the reading for today is by Mark Nepo. It's a poem called Inhabiting Wonder. If the sun thinks by radiating light, its language is warmth. If the ocean thinks by undulating its mass of waves, its language is wetness. If a tree thinks by converting light to sugar, its language is the sprouting of leaves. If the wind thinks by moving unseen through everything, how it bends us is its tongue. I am tired of only thinking like a man or woman, and pray for the courage to radiate, undulate, sprout, and even move through everything unseen.
All right then. So good morning to those of you that have just joined us. Our theme for the month of February is awakening to our spiritual magnificence. Now, one of the definitions of awakening is the act or a moment in which you have a sudden awareness of something. And for us today, that is a sudden awareness of a sacred dimension that is within us and surrounding us. Now, the spiritual principle from Ernest Holmes' What We Believe statement that undergirds this idea is that we believe in the incarnation of the Spirit in everyone, and that all people are incarnations of the one Spirit. Now, we believe that there is one life, and that this life is individualized in all beings, and it becomes self-aware of its individualization in the human being. Does that make sense? So we believe that the highest God and the innermost God are one God, and that we were created in its image and likeness, and therefore we partake of its nature. Now, Ernest Holmes says, you live because life lives in you. You move because there is a universal energy flowing through you. You think because there is an infinite intelligence thinking through you. You exist because the Divine Spirit has sought to individualize itself in and as you. This is why you are called the temple of the living God. There is a spark of the divine at the center of your being, but you need to recognize this, believe it, and act upon it. Wow. The temple of the living God. A spark of the divine within us. A spark that partakes of the nature of that which holds the planets in space, that which created everything that we see and everything that we are. What could be more magnificent, more beautiful, more spectacular, more miraculous, more breathtaking, or more awe-inspiring than that? Now, for many of you here today, this might be a new idea, a true awakening, a moment of suddenly becoming aware of your spiritual dimension. For those of you that have been coming to the center for a period of time, in all probability, it is not a new idea. But as Ernest Holmes said in the quote that I just read, we need to recognize it, but more than recognize it, we need to believe it, and we need to act upon it. So the invitation today is to take in this truth, in a way that is deeper and more expansive than you ever have, to step into this truth in a way that you never have before, and to own this truth as your truth in a way that forever shifts your perception of life and how you're living in it. Mark Nepo, in his book 7,000 Ways to Listen, which, by the way, is a really awesome book, says the mystery of revelation is the awakening through which our habits and frames are expanded by moments of wonder, awe, beauty, and love. And the weathering of erosion is the receiving through which we are broken open to deeper truths. Now, revelation always has the feel of epiphany. That is, it seems to happen all at once. It is the lifting of the veil. One moment we are blind, and the next we see. So my talk today is called Discover Your Voice. Now, physiologically, the human voice consists of sounds that are made by a human being through their vocal cords. And the act of putting words together, or putting a feeling of a specific, putting the words of a specific feeling into an organized way, is to articulate. Now, a conceptual bias in our culture says that articulation is reserved for how well we speak or write. But is that really the truth? Is that the only way in which we can articulate? Now, in the poem that Ruth read, we heard what Mark Nepo had to say about the language of the sun and the sea and the wind and the trees. And he also says that the bird is articulate in the way it twigs its nest. Nice, huh? Or the tide in how it softens what it touches. Or the earth as it spins on its axis in such a way that none of us feel it happening. Aren't there really many more ways in which we can articulate, in which that voice or what it is that we are trying to say can be said? For a moment, go back to my original conversation and see how it can deepen our idea of articulation. So it's been established that there is a spark of the divine that is within each of us, that we were created by God and out of God, and that this golden thread of God's stuff weaves itself throughout all of life. This thread creates a unity with God, with life, and with each other that cannot be broken. But unity does not mean uniformity. We are not separate from life, nor can life ever be separate from us. But we are separate entities within it. We are each individualized centers of God consciousness, individualized expressions of the one. Uniformity and unity are not the same. There are no two blades of grass that are exactly alike. There are no two snowflakes that are exactly alike. Now, spiritually, this means that incarnate within each of us is not only a spark of the divine, not only an incarnation of the living spirit of the cosmos. Ooh, that sounds important. A living spirit of the cosmos, but a unique presentation, a unique representation of the cosmic whole. Ernest Holmes says, life has set the stamp of individuality on you. You are different from any other person who has ever lived. You are an individualized center in the consciousness of God. You are an individualized activity in the action of God. So what this means is that there is a perfect form of self-expression for each of us, something that we are to do or to be or to express that only we can do, be, or express. Every incarnation, every individualization is needed to express the fullness of the infinite universal reality. Every manifestation of the divine is unique and precious and vital and necessary to the whole, so that the whole of life can be expressed. If you were not needed, if your perfect form of self-expression was not needed, if your unique voice was not needed, you would not exist. It is as simple as that. Do you hear what I'm saying? It is as simple as that. Now the challenge comes, however, in that we are not always aware of our perfect form of self-expression, of the voice that is uniquely ours to share. While we can, in theory, understand that Spirit created us exactly as we are, that it fashioned our unique personality and provided us with a special gift, that who we uniquely are is someone that no one else could ever be, and that the unique gifts and talents that we have within us, those gifts and talents that we have to give to the world, can only be given to the world by us, but we have not yet awakened. Well, maybe some of you in this room, maybe all of you in this room, have not yet awakened to what that might be. But the truth is that this perfect self-expression is held as a perfect idea in the divine intelligence. That in the mind of God, this is a perfect idea, your perfect self-expression, and it is simply waiting for your recognition of it. The truth is that the truth is that we have to awaken to what that is in order for it to be able to be expressed through us. And the truth is that it could be expressed very easily through us if we had a powerful yes to being an outlet for it. If we could let go of our fears and our doubts and our worries and stand firmly grounded in our awareness of our spiritual magnificence beyond what our human perceptions might be telling us, then we would know what God knows. We would know that that which we have been seeking has been seeking us, and that imbued within the gift that we have been given is everything that we need to express it. That our powerful yes to allowing Spirit to express through us unleashes the entire universe, which conspires to pave the way for our unique voice or our perfect self-expression to be heard. In saying yes to that which is seeking to be expressed through us, we've created a context that will in all probability be very different from the context that you have been creating your life from thus far. So if we change that context to one that recognizes and has awakened to its spiritual magnificence, that context will create many changes in our lives. Many changes in our lives. Because again, not anyone in this room, of course, but very many people have veered very far away from the divine idea. And they've created relationships and jobs and bodily conditions that are not in alignment with who they truly are. But Florence Scovel Shinn says in her book, The Game of Life and How to Play It, once we've begun it, our perfect self-expression will never be difficult. Instead, it will be so absorbing and interesting that it will almost seem like play, effortless, enjoyable, and energizing. When we're playing this way, nothing can stop us. We are in the zone. Now, the bottom line is that we really are fully equipped to do and be and express that which we are uniquely here to do and to be and to express. When we find ourselves feeling ill-equipped, Florence Scovel Shinn would say that it is usually because we are somewhere we do not belong and doing something that is not ours to do. So, how do we discover our voice? How do we discover our voice, that which is uniquely ours to give? Since we're in a spiritual center, it will probably come as no surprise to you that the way that we discover our voice is through spiritual practice. Meditation, prayer, visioning, contemplation, journaling. Getting quiet enough to listen to that which knows and that which is seeking to be expressed through us. Now we can enter into that quiet with an invitation to the divine intelligence that is within us to reveal to us what that perfect self-expression is, what that unique voice is. And when we ask, believing that the answers are available and open to receive them, then we will, actually we must receive the answers. Simply ask and the answers will be revealed. It said, ask and it is given, knock and the door is answered. Now let your prayers be prayers of alignment, prayers of clarity, and prayers of divine right action. Participate in the process of visioning. We do it here quite often, the process of visioning, and reverently listen for the divine download. It will inform you. It will support you. It will advise you. Listen to the music that cracks open your heart and drops you to your knees and allows you to be vulnerable enough to let go of your own ideas and the demands of others and to stand in the question of, God, what is mine to do? What is mine to express? What is my unique voice? And what I know about this unique voice is that it defines the space that we were created to occupy. That it defines the unique value that we are capable of contributing. And what this means is that if we don't use that voice, if we don't express that which we came here to express, to contribute, then in all probability that contribution will never be heard, will never be seen. What I also know about that unique voice is that it will not stop seeking to be expressed. It will continue to push, to press from the inside out, softly at first, but then with more insistence. So it really behooves us to listen to that inner voice. The world is waiting for our allowing of this perfect self-expression to be expressed. Todd Henry, in his book, Louder Than Words, says our voice is the thing that is being called out of us in the midst of our work. It is the underlying why of our passion, even if we have never considered it. We must actively search for our voice and clear a path for it to emerge. It is uncovered, not manufactured. Uncovered. It is there already. We may not even like what we first discover, but by embracing it, we will position ourselves to occupy the unique space for which we are wired. And he shares with the reader a number of different questions that may help to uncover, to discover our voice, and suggests that we set time apart to sit with the questions and then to journal whatever is revealed. So today I'm going to share a few of those questions with you. The first is, when are you at your best? When do others seem to connect most deeply to you? What is the context when that happens? Who are the people that are inspired by that? And why do you think that that is the case? What have you mastered? Are there tasks, skills, or opportunities that you have mastered and that you can do them without thinking? And that when you are doing them, time just literally flies by. When are you at your best? The second is, when are you moved emotionally? When have you gotten emotional about something that you experienced, whether you were at home or with your family or with friends or at work? For example, when you find yourself consistently tearing up while listening to stories or watching stories that involve an underdog who overcomes incredible odds, then quite possibly your unique self-expression might involve fighting for those who are oppressed or unheard. Does that make sense? When are you moved emotionally? The third, what stirs your anger? Now, he's not talking about the kind of anger that's like a road rage anger. What he's talking about is compassionate anger. Compassion means to suffer with, or that you're angry on behalf of someone else who has been wronged, or a situation in which you felt for someone else. When have you felt that kind of compassionate anger? The fourth question is, what gives you great hope? When have you taken a position that others have deemed crazy, but you held firm in that position despite their skepticism? Where do you hold a strong vision and great hope for your life and your work, even though it might be irrational to others? As a child, what did you want to be when you grew up? Always a good question. Todd Henry says, we often forget the earliest clues to our voice as we are burdened with the expectations of peers, teachers, parents, and eventually the marketplace. But those early days of wonder, the vast expanses of horizon that hinted at limitless possibility, can give us insight into the deeper seeds of fascination that still reside within us. What gives you great hope? And the next is, what kinds of problems are you naturally drawn to solving? When you look at your life and your work, what are the qualities of the problems that you tend to gravitate toward? What are the qualities of the problems that you tend to gravitate toward? What do you find yourself doing even when you don't have to do it? What kinds of problems do you naturally obsess upon? What change would you like to see in the world? And what would you like to be different about the world because you lived in it? Great question. What kinds of problems are you naturally drawn to? And lastly, if you had all of the time and the money in the world, what would you do? Todd Henry says, we believe that a lack of resources is the obstacle to our happiness and fulfillment. But for many of us, the limitation has nothing to do with a lack of time or money. So if we just take that belief completely out of the equation, what would you do? Or perhaps you could ask yourself, if I had one day, or 1 week, or 1 year to live, what would I do? Who would I do it with? How would I spend it? If you had all the time and the money in the world, what would you do? So the invitation today is to awaken to your spiritual magnificence, to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you are an incarnation of spirit, created by God, out of God itself, connected by this golden thread, united but not uniform. That you have your own voice, that you have within you the perfect form of self-expression that is absolutely yours to share with the world, yours and no one else's. It is important and significant and vital. So the invitation is to discover your voice. Do whatever it takes, ask whatever questions it takes to discover your voice and allow it to express through and as you. A world that works for everyone is waiting for your unique voice. A world that works for everyone is waiting for the unique you. Just say yes. Can I get a yes? Yes. All right. And so it is. Oh, so I just invite you to take a moment to turn within. And as I do so, I become acutely aware of the presence of Spirit within me. The one Spirit, the one mind, the one life, the one love, the one creative energy back of everything that there is. It is eternal. It is everywhere at all times. It is always for us and never against us. And I know that I am one with it, created in its image and likeness. Out of itself, I am that I am. And just as I know that this is my truth, I know it is true for each and every person here today and those within the sound of my voice in your homes. That each of us is a unique and divine expression of God. And it is from this place of unity but not uniformity that I speak these words about and for each of us today. Knowing that when we arrived on the planet, we arrived with our own special gift, our own perfect self-expression, our own unique voice, that it was imbued within us by that which created us in the first place. And what I know about this unique voice is that it is needed, it is vital, it is precious, it is necessary to the whole. And what I know about this voice is that we can know what it is. that we can do this through our spiritual practices, that by getting quiet enough, we can ask and listen for the answer. And then step powerfully into that, allowing ourselves to awaken to and step into our spiritual magnificence by being that, by expressing that, by doing that. And I claim for each of us today that this can be done with ease and with grace. That truly we are supported by a universe that paves the way for it through our powerful yes. And I'm so grateful to know this truth, so grateful to speak these words, so grateful for the power of prayer, knowing that these words are loosed into a law that only ever says yes, that they are made whole, perfect, and complete even as they are spoken, clothed in form. And so I speak them and I release them with love and gratitude and full expectation of their manifestation, letting go and letting God just be God. And I invite each of us to anchor these words for yourselves and for each other by saying, and so it is. Amen.